My left wrist feels like it's on fire. Damn it, man. I knew I shouldn't have been doing it that vigorously. Hey, yo, pause? It's not what you think. I've hurt my wrist because I was playing Fortnite with my keyboard tilted at 90 degrees. Basically, at this time, like, for some Fortnite pros, they will play the game with their keyboard at, like, a 90-degree angle. And, like, if you have your keyboard in front of you, like, try it for yourself. Like, it puts immense strain on your wrist. But the pros, like, they said it was, like, best and they said it was optimal. So, like, what do you think I did? I copied them, right? And then, like, naturally, when the main focus of my life, like, shifted into school, I'd watch countless study tips and tricks videos. And I'd be constantly switching study methods and study, like, techniques, tips, according to the pros, just as how I'd like always change my sensitivity on Valorant, or how I'd switch between like different boxing styles, different badminton rackets, and even different piano hand postures. Yes, they really do exist. I'd always be switching up and trying to find the best tip, as if like Chopin was gonna like come back and like reincarnate myself if I like tried playing like in this technique. I'd always be trying to find the best study tip, the best keybind, the best like posture, whatever. Guess what? I was making progress in none of those areas, especially my grades. They were actually suffering, and it really hurt, right? Because I was spending so much time watching these videos. I was going out my way to like invest in trying to learn how to study better, but if anything, like the result I wanted, getting good grades, like that just wasn't happening. And if this describes you, you watch YouTube videos about like study tips and tricks because like you want to learn how to learn the best way, but then you try implement it, but you don't see any results, and this cycle just continues and continues. This video was made perfectly for you. I'm Steven, also known as Trixpot, and I help students become the best they can be. And the first way to solve this is to realize that there is no best study tip. Dramatic shock. There was a ceramics class, and the class was divided into two groups at the start of like the year. And all of those on the left side of the studio, the teacher said that they'd be graded like solely on the quantity. And so here it says that his procedure was simple. On the final day of class, he would bring in his bathroom scales and weigh the work of the quantity group. So 50 pounds of like clay would get an A, 40 pounds A. So the shape like didn't matter. They could like literally just like make like random blobs of like the pots, and as long as like they reach the weight threshold, they'd get the highest grade, so quantity, right? Whereas the other one, they'd be graded on one singular pot, but it has to be quality. So if they could only make one, they were only given enough like clay for one pot, but they had the whole month to make one. Whereas like the other group, they just had to like bust out. It's quite interesting what happened. The quality group sat and theorized about perfection, and in the end, they had nothing to show for their efforts than grandiose theories and a pile of dead clay. We would just want to perfect the action, right? We want to look for the best study tip, like the best vehicle that will get us towards our like study mission, right? But that just doesn't exist. Firstly, everyone learns in a different way. So those videos that say like, oh, this is the best study method, like this is like the only like study method you need to do, and it's like 14-step procedure on like how you can like start studying. Those are all just like lies, because while Pomodoro, for example, works for some people, it doesn't work for a lot of people. And so what you're searching for might not even exist. And secondly, just as in the ceramics class, focusing on perfecting the actions was far less effective than actually just doing it, seeing your results and like learning from your mistakes. You can imagine like they just like the group that had to make one perfect one, they had no way of like learning from their mistakes, whereas the people who made like 30 every single day, they were able to like pick up on their mistakes. And even though they weren't even focusing about quality, just because they were doing it more often, they were actually doing the action, making the clay pots. Oh, I'm dying. They were able to produce like better quality unconsciously just because they were doing the action more. I always compare studying and going to the gym because I find they're really similar. Studying is the vehicle for getting good grades. That's what you really want. You don't want to study, you want to get the good grades, correct? You go to the gym to get the physique, correct? Like that's the end point, that's what you want to get to. And that's why in the gym I do PP up, which stands for push pull legs. It's probably like a relatively efficient workout. I was like scrolling through YouTube and like trying to research for this video, and there was like a video saying like, oh, actually push pull legs is actually like really inefficient. Like it actually like this is inefficient, that's inefficient, and actually instead of push pull legs you do this exercise, and like even in those like actually doing like this bench press at like 30 degrees instead of 50 is actually more efficient. Like that was like those type of videos, right? But actually that doesn't really matter, because if you think about it, if you enjoy the exercise you do, like I'm more likely to like, even if it's like 1% less efficient than like doing it one way, if I enjoy it, I'm gonna be more inclined to actually do it, and doing the action is what's get you to the results. If you do zero of the action, like you can theorize about the perfect way you're going to do it all you want, but unless you actually do it, you're not going to see results. I'm used to all the exercises I do. I can go to the gym and just do it. Your study sessions or study methods should look exactly the same. I used to force myself to do some like SQ3R like study type method, and I wouldn't even enjoy it, and it wouldn't even work, and I always thought I was the problem. Once you have a study technique that works and you know it's efficient, you should stick to that. Repeating and getting familiar with one of the things, it's what's going to yield you the results. It takes time getting used to something new, right? I used to change my sensitivity in Valorant like so often. Like I'd see like Tens was doing some high sense, and then there was like this other pro was saying like low sense, and oh, the pro's like, he's saying some saucy clips like, oh, I want that low sense, no sense. And you think I saw progress? No, because it takes time to get used to your sensitivity. The person who just sticks to one sensitivity will like outshoot you in like all aspects. Bro, I still remember like I'd be playing like ranked games and my teammates would be screaming down my ear because I'd be like, oh guys, like, let me cook with like my high sense, and then I'd miss every single shot. Would I have made progress in the gym if every single day I went and I tried like a new workout routine, a new split? No. We all know that consistency in like these aspects and like getting used to the thing is important, and studying is exactly the same thing, even more important in fact. I remember doing SQ3 and it was labeled as the most efficient study method proved by science, right? And I'm not hating on it, but for me, like, because I was just used to what I was doing, it was difficult for me to like get on board with the study method, because you can imagine like I was doing this thing and I was like, wait, what even are the 3 S's? No, what even does the S stand for? And so like I'd be there studying, but then I have to like figure out what the S was, so I like searching that up, and then I get distracted, and then I was like, okay, I'll do the S and then the R. I'm like, well, what did the 3Q stand for? Like, what do I even do? And so it would take me so long to get used to it, and the setup time and learning time and like actually getting used to that thing made it so I wouldn't even be able to actually do the thing. Yet if I just stuck to my past papers and actually did that like for the hour that I spent like researching what SQ3R was, I would have got so much more done and hence got more results and hence done better on the test. Shiny object syndrome is what this is called, and we're all guilty of this, right? It's like the grass is greener on the other side type shit. But even if the grass is greener on the other side, it will take you time to walk down your hill, go all the way to the other side to see if it is like greener. And by the time they're like, oh, you see like, oh yeah, the grass actually is green, it's like 1% greener. And like while you're munching on that, like imagine you're a cow. If you had just stayed where you were and you just like munched on your grass over there, you would have eaten more, right? And a lot of the time the grass isn't even greener on the other side. In badminton or like any other sports, I'd assume, there's always a player that does some like weird footwork, right? They use some like old racket, they do some like, they do things that are quote unquote unoptimal. And I remember I'd watch this like badminton player who like does this really weird like technique, right? It's not like orthodox, but they'd still be professional, right? And so these people, the things that like quote unquote we could say it's unoptimal, they're still in like the top 0.0001% of athletes. And so your tool is not the constraint. It's the fact that you're not taking action upon these. Study tips videos and like all these different things. You have to stop watching them because you have to realize that a lot of the videos are just like view grabbers, right? It would be so easy like for me to like say like, oh, this is the only like study method you ever need. Like imagine like every single video I like introduced a new study method. Like I could take advantage of the shiny object syndrome that we all have, and you'd all like watch it. But the thing is that there's a reason that I only ever advocate like doing past papers and like flashcards, because sticking to that has always served me right. These videos make you feel good and make you think that you're productive when you're actually not. For a change to happen, it's a process, then it's an internal change, then it's a behavioral change, and then you see actions, which then leads to the results. Videos are good for an internal change, but we stop at that for a lot of the time. And actually just doing it, seeing what works and doesn't, and then learning from like our mistakes is how you learn the best. If you have a botching, yeah, nice one. If you have a boxing match soon, you're gonna learn best by actually getting in the ring, putting on the gloves and punching, right? Not reading a book about like how to box and then like theorizing like how the best way to box is, right? You can only see results by doing. Do the thing, stop coping. Your brain has proven anyway to learn best through repetition and mistakes. So sticking to that one thing that you know is more effective, that is the way that you're gonna see progress. I guarantee you anyway that all study methods are all the same as well, basically, as long as you have a way to test yourself and like redo mistakes. That's why I only do flashcards and past papers, because they're active, I can see where I go wrong, they're simple, and it works ridiculously well. So why would I stop? And if you're watching this, you probably watched your fair share of study videos as well. And well, what if today was finally the day you took action? Because right now I'm helping a handful of students around the world improve their grades fast using a special studying system that you can learn about by clicking the first link in the description and watching my free masterclass. Come on. Click that link below and take action. And it kind of acts as like the extension to what we talked about here, and I think you'll really find value in that. Anyway, I hope that this video will save you hours upon hours, because I can't even like stress how many hours upon hours, like in all aspects, like the video games, like piano, studying. I'd always be obsessing over like the action and not actually doing the action, which is like crazy to think about it, but I think we're all kind of guilty of that. So I hope this video saves you hours, and you can start to see like the study tips videos as like in a different light as well, because on the surface they may seem to be helpful, but actually they could be the thing dragging and holding you back from making progress. Take action, and I'll see you next time. Bam.